Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. I am joined with Fernando. Fernando, how are you?
I'm pretty
Fernando
good.
from
How are you,
Nobody.
Terry?
Let's make it official.
Let's make it official. Yes.
How are you,
How are you?
Fernando?
I'm pretty good. How are you, Terry?
Good. And I know I'm based in Atlanta. You are all the way coming in from Mexico City, right?
Mexico City right now. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is our international stream.
It's for national. Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're going to be doing some photo retouching, from what I understand. For
Yes.
those of you who are new, and I see a bunch of people in the chat already, I see Sean, Lauren Epsom, Steve, Gina, Cody Bear. Hey, Cody Bear. Jay, Gina, Eddie, Victoria, Sam Peterson, and I think I said Sean already, but great. Great to see you all here.
Hey, all.
Today, again, is just continuation of more content, more online streaming. So, with that said, let's take a quick look at the schedule. So we kicked off this morning with getting started in Adobe Dimension with Victoria. Then Jesus just wrapped up the daily creative challenge with Photoshop. And here we are doing photo retouching with Fernando from Nobody Studio. And after us will be the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, then Editorial Design, then Adobe XD Creative Challenge, and Draw Along with Kyle Webster. And then finishing off the day with our design off with Voodoo Bow and Jetpack and roller skates. So we are happy to be here delivering this content. And Fernando, this is my first time working with you. So tell us a little bit about you, how people get in touch with you, what do you do, and how's everything going on in the world of Fernando, and with everything going on in the world, how are you?
Well, first of all, yeah, the situation here is like a little bit difficult with like COVID and stuff, but I try to see it like in the most positive way. Like
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think in 1 or 2 years, we're gonna look back and say like, "Hey, we made it. We made it in the one of the most rough times in human history." So, but yeah, I'm Fernando Rodriguez. I was born in San Francisco, but raised in Mexico, in Durango, Mexico. Durango, it's like a little tiny city in the north of Mexico. So I lived my entire life there, and after I graduated from graphic design major, I moved to San Francisco to, well, when I was studying graphic design, I got like having this passion for photography. So it got like increasingly getting like higher and higher. So I was like, okay, especially like in fashion photography, I really got into that. So I was like, okay, I have to make my move. So I moved to San Francisco and I stayed there for about 3 4 years. And well, my dream always was to be in New York. So that was like basically what I my final goal to go. So first of all, I went to San Francisco. I got like a little bit more into photography. I got like study there. I took like some master classes. I got like a little bit more of the like get some clients, go do collaborations, try to like build like a portfolio, which is like at the beginning is kind of hard. It's like not a lot of people are willing to work with you because you don't have experience, you don't have like a strong portfolio. But as I could, like I was like start collaborating with people, creating something that I really liked it, kind of like you know combining the photography, gaining more experience, and also like retouching, which I really like. I really like to retouching. So I was like, okay, if I want to take my photography to a next level, I have to be like willing to sit down and learn and try to like see what the other people is doing good, so I can like get inspired and take my work to another level. So after that, I decided to move to Mexico City because I came here once and I love the city. So I was like, okay, I have to live in Mexico City for like a period of my life. So I've been living here for 4 years too. And I'm planning to move to New York next year. Depends of like how the situation is going. But I'm really like hopefully like it's gonna be good and everything is gonna be like great.
Very cool. So I caught the born in San Francisco, been living in Mexico City, been there for 4 years. Want to move to New York. studying retouching, studying photography, seeing how people do it, so you can get better at it. And you're amazing already. But what I don't know if I missed it, but how long have you been doing photography? Like, how long have you been doing that, and how did you get started?
Oh wait, yeah, I started, like completely as a amateur, like try to get my first camera when I was still back in Mexico, which is like around 9 years ago.
Okay.
But like I have no idea what I was doing. I have no idea exactly what I wanted to like focus on. And then like more professionally, I would say like around 6 years.
Mhm. Okay.
6 years.
And from looking at your work, it looks like you concentrate a lot on portrait photography. Is that right?
Yeah. I can open my website, which is
All right.
nobody
Let's take a look at your website.
studio.us. So this is like a little bit of what I do. Uh,
And you're also on Behance, so they can
yeah,
follow you on
yeah,
Behance
I'm
and
in
link to this
Behance.
show.
Yeah. So I have here some like different projects, like this is a little bit of what I like to do. I like a lot to play with colors, like different,
Very nice.
um, different lighting. Also, I'm really right now in this moment of my life, I'm really into color. So I really want to learn more. I want to like apply a lot of different things in color. I want to, like get better and better and better. And in the future, I think I want to be a little bit more like learn a little bit more in black and white, because it's also like a different, like a completely different way to see like photography, right? You can master your photography in black and white or color. Right now, as I tell you, feel more like in color. But yeah, this is basically like this project. I did it for like a magazine in Bulgaria, Cologracia. Um, yeah, I really enjoy like the part of working with like with a team, because everything brings up something on the table. It's not only like, oh, the photography comes and do the stuff. No, it's like a combination between like a hairstylist, like a makeup artist, the stylist, creative direction. It's like a mixture of like a different creative people. So I really believe like these results is like the combination of like different people. And I really that really brings me like a good experience,
Hmm.
especially when you're retouching, as I'm gonna tell you like later. It really helps you like understand like, oh, why the makeup artists do this and why the makeup artists do that and why he's using
Yeah,
those colors.
I had to learn a lot of that the hard way because I was like oblivious to makeup, and then hire professional makeup artists, and they do all this work, and then early on I'd obliterate it in Photoshop, and they'd be like, "What the hell are you doing to my work?" And so I
Yeah,
had to learn the hard way that makeup is an art, and you need to respect it in the photography as well.
exactly. And I think like when we started, like most of the photographers will have like this problem, like you accidentally like screw like the makeup artist work. I was like, hey dude,
Yeah.
I just did like I spent like 2 hours doing this makeup, so you don't like
Just
really.
take all that off in two
Yeah,
seconds
yeah,
with a
yeah,
brush in
yeah.
Photoshop.
But also like in the other hand, when you're talking about editorial, which is like this like kind of like creating a story, depends on what you're doing. Like if you're doing like a beauty editorial, it's gonna be focused on makeup. If you're doing
Hmm.
like a fashion editorial, you're gonna be focused more in the clothing, and the makeup is gonna be like to complement the look. So
Well,
it's
you
also
got a lot
that.
of love. You got a lot of love in the chat. Mia and Sean say they love your work, and you're inspiring Sean to want to go shoot now.
Thank you so
And
much.
Cody's posted your Instagram to the chat as well. So for those of you, for whatever reason, not looking at the chat, it's Instagram.com/nobody underscore photo. So nobody underscore photo on Instagram. I asked you earlier because I was going to share this on Twitter. What's your Twitter? It's like, I don't use Twitter.
I don't
Barely
use.
use Facebook.
I heard it's like
He's
a
an
battlefield right
Instagram.
now.
Yeah, he's an Instagram and Behance guy. So we got to love that.
Yeah, yeah. Only
And
only
of
that.
course, your own website.
My website, yeah, which is like I was telling to you, like it's brand new, so uh, the programmer did like a great job. I think I'm checking right now, so I'm very
Yep.
happy with it. So yeah,
So
well, this
again,
is
lots of
basically like
love. Kirsty says, "Wow, amazing work!" And Marcia's so positive and inspirational. And Angelica, hey Angelica, how are you? Amazing work. Um, and Sean saying something about Photoshop. Oh, he's talking to somebody else. Okay. And Angelica
okay.
just followed your Instagram. I'm going to go follow it too.
Thank you so much.
But so tell us about today's project. What are you going to be working on today?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna work in an image which is part of like a series. So this project is like a personal project, so I'm really excited to talk about it. And I'm gonna show you like not even like the people that I'm working with that have seen it yet. But basically, what I wanted to do for a long time, it was like mix photograph with 3D. So I'm gonna show you like the first part because I contacted like this amazing 3D artist. So basically, what I did, we created like a beauty editorial. Well, like a mix between beauty and fashion.
Yep. And let me
I'm
just say
gonna.
one more thing. So for the people that are out there watching on YouTube or Twitter or wherever you're watching this, keep in mind that we monitor the chat at b.net/Adobe Live. So like I'm seeing people leave comments over there on YouTube, but we won't see them. I glance at them, but I won't be able to pay attention to them. And if you're leaving comments in other places, that's great. But if you want us to see them, head over to b.net/Adobe Live, especially if you've got questions or feedback or comments for Fernando. That's where we will actually see your comments and be able to respond to them. All right. So I'm sorry to interrupt you. Continue.
That's okay, no worries. So what I wanted to do, it was like this mix between like photography and 3D. So I contacted like this team and we create like this editorial, which you're gonna see like this is I just did like some light and color adjustments just to see like the entire selection. So this is like the full, like although like all these images need to be like retouched, and I'm gonna retouch right now one of them. But
Mm-hmm.
basically what I wanted to show here, and as I told you, like we have like these big highlights, and it's because when the 3D artist is going to do his job, he's going to make like this really flow, like really shiny skin tones. So basically this is kind of like a process when you talk with the entire people of the team of what you want. um, I'm going to show you like really quick like what exactly I'm talking about. Basically, when I'm doing like a photo shoot, I prepare like a mood board for the entire team. Sometimes if you know the team for a long time, it's a little bit easier, which is kind of like this mood board, like super simple. But I'm telling you like, oh, I want this type of like styling, oversized layers, gender duality, skirts, and the makeup. We have like a quick reference, visual reference of what we want, like lines, eyebrows, lips, blood color, and be very neutral. In this case, as I already knew the team, it's like, okay, this is like the basics, and from here everybody have to like just like bring ideas, get as crazy as you want.
Now, it's interesting because you're doing a mood board, which I typically see graphic designers do and artists do all the time, but I rarely see photographers do it. We create shot lists, which is basically just a text list of don't forget to get this shot or this pose or whatever. But it's
Mm-hmm.
inspiring to see you actually do it visually with a mood board. That's
Yeah.
something I rarely, if ever, see photographers do. And while we're on the topic of photography, someone had just a quick question. What was the focal length of the image on your desktop, like your desktop picture? What was that focal length, if you remember?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Sorry.
The focal length of your desktop image, that woman with it looks like on I don't know what that is, that background, the background image.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
like
image. Oh, this is like
what's
an
the
eye
focal length
fish.
of that one? Yeah,
It's an eye fish, like a 8 millimeter eye
eight
fish
millimeter.
eye. Fish eye. Yeah.
Yeah, fisheye lens. Okay, 8 millimeter. Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
continue. But I
Um,
was just commenting on the mood board. I appreciate that
mhm.
idea. That was awesome.
Yeah, and well, when you do it like in fashion, it's like it's kind of like more common than that. And I discovered when I got into it, because you know, like as you're working with several like people, you need to have like at least like a general idea what you want to achieve, what's the direction of the makeup artist, because it's like it's kind of sometimes it's better to show it like with pictures, like, oh, I want something more this way, or like the pose like a
Yep.
little bit this way and the clothing like this, that actually explain it with words. And I have like another example of like a mood
And
board
it
a little bit
also,
more explained.
yeah, it also helps when you're working with multiple people. You're working with a fashion designer, you're working with the makeup artist, you're working with a stylist, you're working with a hairstylist. That way they get to see the whole vision as opposed to just an individual shot. Hey, I kind of wanted to look like this. So the mood board, yeah, I'm digging it. I like the way you did that.
So this is like, for example, another like a little bit more complex mood board, I would say. This is in Spanish, sorry, but I'm gonna make this in here in Mexico City. So, but yeah, basically, this is a little bit more with words. I have like something more specific in my mind, so I put like, you know, like as a theme, I use like a keywords, so the people and the stylist
Hmm.
and the model and everyone knows what like the feeling what we want to achieve in this photo shoot. I use like some like themes, and this specific photo shoot I want to play a little bit with different feelings. So I want to every single feeling has like their own like character. So that's what I in solitude, like loneliness, I put the mood, like how the expression face gonna be, how like the pose, and in the art I want to have like a old television, and styling I want like more like cold colors and maybe some like bright colors to contrast some parts in the clothing or in the background. And here, like as you see, like the depression, we have like have to be like this smooth, a little bit sadness, void. We want to like this color will be like more uh, saturated because we want to like do like some crazy stuff talking about depression, but the opposite, like how you can fix the or how people usually fix depression. But well, as you see, like every single one, and I have like a lot of words in this one. As I have like a very specific idea, I have to be more carefully how I express what I want. And yeah, this is basically like a mood board, and just to like tell you, like not only times I'm the one who's gonna make the mood board. Sometimes like, you know, a stylist or like a creative direction have like an idea, and they see like, oh, you know what, that photography had like have like a really good style. So I want to call them, but this is my idea. So basically it's how you learn to create a mood board, and how can you read a mood board from somebody else and interpret it and put your own style in their idea, you know.
Very cool. And you're getting lots of love on your work and the mood boards and Mexico City. You
Mexico
have some fans coming in from
Mexico
Mexico
City
City as
is
well.
beautiful. You should come with this all this finish. So yeah, this is like basically before I started what I want to show you, like and in this particular case is like the editorial. Basically, if you're doing like some editorial, like beauty editorial, you will have like 6 different changes. Like every single shot has like something different in the makeup. And if you have like a fashion, you have like maybe like 12 photography, and you have like 12 different outfits. As this is like a personal project, I mean, I just really don't care about that stuff. um, but yeah, so right now I'm gonna work specifically in this picture, uh, so which I already have here. Um, so before, uh, as used, what I already showed you had like some color adjustments that I did in Lightroom, but right now in this particular image, I took away all the color and I just did some general adjustments like as exposure and brightness and contrast. That's what I did in Lightroom. I really use it like not that much. I basically would do all my heavy work in Photoshop because it's like a lot of details, and yeah, but that basically that's what I do more. Hold on,
Very cool.
sorry. So basically we have like this image, right? So what we want to do, it's like first of all doing like check it out. What's try to read the image, you know, like hey, I think I need to fix a lot of like the skin parts, like these lines. I'm gonna have to remove a lot of like this hair that I don't want. I want to keep some of them, but I want to really remove like all this area, which is gonna be a little bit
It's going to be
tedious.
not easy.
It's gonna be a little bit tedious, but not impossible. So I'm gonna also like clean a little bit of the hair. I want to keep this hair. Usually I'll take it away, but I noticed like if I take this away, this hair looks really weird. It looks like a weird helmet. So I want to keep like the impression like it's like hair and not like a helmet. So I just gonna clear a little bit this, but I'm not gonna remove the entire thing. Here we have like like this blood stuff. We have like some skin issues. Not like not too bad. I think also like when you're doing this type of shootings, when you're gonna have like close-ups, it's also like really important how you pick your the model. Try to like pick like the right
and,
model when they have like a good skincare, because
yeah, and
otherwise,
also just keep in mind because I know that retouching is also a sensitive topic for a lot of people.
yeah.
And retouching a portrait of a friend or just someone that's not in a professional space is one thing, versus
Hmm.
retouching a model that is used to being retouched for the cover of a magazine is another thing. So
Totally.
there are different levels of retouching. There are different levels of what you might or do or might not do, depending on who the subject is, who the client is, what they're comfortable
Mhm.
with, so forth and so on. So retouching is definitely not one size fits all. It's like some of the things he's talking about doing, which makes total sense for this kind of project, you wouldn't do on other kinds of projects. So it just depends on what the project is.
That's exactly right. So
So
it's like
I just
depends
wanted
on.
to get the retouching disclaimer out of the way.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally. I understand, because it's also like a really personal and like a really like a personal view, right? But yeah,
Right,
right.
it is.
First of all, to split the two bit like the gaps. Like if you're retouching like a portrait, you want to keep the natural aspect of the subject, right?
Absolutely.
Because you want to like if you portraying like an actor, or you portraying like your grandma, you want to keep like the wrinkles, you want to keep exactly
Right.
like what she
Exactly.
looks.
So that's what I mean. It depends on what the project is.
Yes. And for magazines, for different like what I'm doing right now, well, this is like a fashion model, she works there, she lives of modeling, so she
Yes.
obviously takes care of her skincare a lot, so she is like a different view, yeah. But thank you for saying that, because that's very important. If people can get like really confused, like, oh, as I retouch, I have to clear the face, I have to
No.
make it like
Yeah.
flawless, and I'm like, no, that's not in this
Because it's
particular
not
image.
realistic. Yeah.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
as I'm doing like the 3D 3D project, that's what I want. I want something not realistic, or something like in the mix between like, oh, it's realistic, or it's like 3D. So in this particular image, and this is like what I want to do.
And we got a question in the chat just to make sure that the red is makeup, not Photoshop,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. This is makeup. So that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine, because I asked the makeup artist, okay, I want this like the neck to be like red, and he took like a lot of time to make like this really really nice. So it will be like really not good on me to change the entire color, or make it like change to make it like black or white or whatever. So
And
this is also like,
that brings up a great point. Is that the makeup artist took a lot of time to get it to look the way they wanted it to look, the way they envisioned it. For us to go in and change it is doing a disservice to the makeup artist. In the
yeah,
same way of you posting your pictures on Instagram or wherever, someone takes your picture, takes it into Photoshop and adds a bunch of filters to it, and then post it and say, look, I made your photo better. How does that make you feel? It usually pisses
yeah,
you off. So, same concept. Don't take someone else's work and call yourself improving upon it or
yeah.
taking liberties to do something to it that they didn't intend. including makeup, including hairstyling, so forth and so on.
Yeah, totally agree with you.
I'm going to go download Fernando's pictures now and go work on them.
I'll send you the raw files.
No. I'm just kidding. But yeah, just you wouldn't do that, or hopefully you wouldn't do that. So same thing in the real world. Don't do that to someone's art.
Yeah.
We're going to take someone's painting and add a few more brush strokes. I think they missed.
Exactly. They're gonna take like some painter's work and like just like mix it to try to
mix it
improve
in
it.
a little bit. I don't think they did it right. Don't do that.
No, definitely not. So first of all, here I have this image. I'm gonna command J to duplicate the layer, or we can just and also like checking what are the things that I need to do. I think I have like some lights here that I want to get even with this color. Same here in the neck. I can make it everything at the same color. In this part, I think I want to keep it. I just want to make a little bit more saturated this part, but I want to keep like this area, this faded. So because as the 3D artist is going to do like the intervention here, so I want him to have like some range so he can play with the fading here of color. Also here in the eye, I think it's looks kind of weird because we have like this light here in the eye, and here we almost got it, but not really. So kind of looks like a little bit like she's like winking the eye. So you will see how this works. And also when I'm doing like this analysis of my image, sometimes, and this happens a lot, photographers, exactly when especially when we are like shooting for like a few days in a row, a few weeks in a row, that we tend to forget to clean the lenses of the camera. We tend to do like the proper maintenance of our camera and the sensor. So we tend to have sometimes a little bit of spots of like dust here, and you might not see it. And this is the only way when I use like the solar. So I'm gonna open my actions, and I call it the solar curves. With basically, it's like a curve adjustment layer. Take it to the extreme. As we see here, we started from like the shadows and take it to the highlights. Here in my action, I have it to the black check and the white check, which is basically the opposite. Started with the highlight and ended like in the shadows. This is gonna, and what I'm saying here is I only use this to check like in the backgrounds. I don't check any of my skin, because obviously it looks like takes the thing so extreme that your eyes start getting like lazy of trying to perceive like subtle things.
But right now you could just sell that for like $300 right now, just the way it is.
I hope so, man. I hope it would be like so easy as that. But as you see, like we have like this little spot,
like a water spot there,
and like if I take it away, it's like barely like noticing. And it might not be it might not be a problem, but if you printing, those little things might come out. So first of all, before I start doing all the cleaning in the face, I'm gonna work on that, because sometimes I tend to forget things and I don't want to do it. So I want to take, you can do like different, I can use like the healing brush, I can do the cloning, but I use this, that I forgot how's the name in English.
So Marcia's asking, is the solar curve an action in Photoshop? You created your own, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have it as an action, but you can create it by yourself. Basically, it's like a curves adjustment layer.
So he's going through the steps to do it manually. He just made it into an action. So curves adjustment layer, and you're just, yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Making a zigzag pattern.
Yeah, you have to make like a zigzag pattern here.
And then so you would record that as an action, so you don't have to do it manually every single time.
Yeah. And So, here, and I started from the shadow, which is like in a curve adjustment layer, and the top, bottom, and the left, we have like the darkest areas of the image, and at the top on the right, we have like the brightest areas, the brightest areas of the image. So yeah, we have it here. I just going to like erase this pretty quickly, since I don't have a lot of texture. Should be like quite easy to remove this. And see.
Now, Sean's asking a question that, again, it's a workflow thing. Everyone has their workflow, but like, why didn't you do this in Lightroom, this cleaning part?
I'm really more familiar in Photoshop and more comfortable. I mean, I can do it. I totally can do it, but it's just like a personal preferences. What I do sometimes in Lightroom, and it's like better, it's to try to give the entire series of image the same like color or tone, like to have the same mood, because it can be more tedious to match it in Photoshop. Sure. But since I'm doing Photoshop right now, I'm going to show it. That's what I took away the color adjustment that I did, and I'm going to show you how can I do it here in Photoshop. So I think I'll take this a little bit. And
now, just as a side note for anyone that cares, that there is one aspect to Lightroom, while we're on this subject, that if that was a spot on the lens or the sensor happening in the same exact spot on every photo, let's say it took 300 photos and that water spot or whatever that spot was, dust spot, whatever it is an exact same spot, then you could use spot removal in Lightroom Classic or Lightroom to batch remove it from every photo, even if the orientation of the photo changes from landscape to portrait. So in a case like that, that would make sense to do it in Lightroom. But you'd have to, first of all, know it's there and be able to see it. And that'd be a little harder to do. Well, you could visualize spots. So yeah, I'm sorry. You could do it in Lightroom. You could do it in Photoshop. Your choice.
Yeah, your choice. So basically, as I said, I just want to...
And along the same lines, Kirsty's asking, what do you use to organize your images, Lightroom or Bridge?
Sorry?
What do you use to organize your images, Lightroom, Lightroom Classic, or Bridge?
Lightroom. Yeah, I have like all my, like, when I'm, depends of the shooting, right? But when I'm doing like in a studio, I'm transmitting like the photos like right on the spot. So I have like my folders, and I have all my Lightroom set up. So all my images goes to this exactly folder. So all the adjustments. So yeah, I use Lightroom, and basically I have like hard drives like full of images, like full of like different like shootings. So they're like super. Yeah, man, it's like those people are getting like richer and richer, man, with all of us. So yeah, basically I finished that. I erased that, and I mean, you might not even notice, but I'm telling you, it's there.
Yeah, well, yeah, we just barely we couldn't see it under normal conditions, anyways. But now we know it's gone.
So I'm gonna call this an image. Also, what you really want to
calling that out is that kind of stuff doesn't really show up that well on the screen, but it will definitely show up on a high-res print.
Yeah, because also like what you really want to do when you like working in Photoshop, you really need to be organized. You need to name your layers, because it happens to me like more than once, and I learned in the hard experience, like if you're not organized, you might have to redo something like a few weeks later, like a month later, or even if like the time passes and you say like, hey, I noticed something that it wasn't there, I didn't notice before, and I want to put it like in my portfolio, so I need to fix something. You don't want like a full like PSD like with no names, like everything like curves, and because it's gonna be a mess, and you have to go layer by layer to see to adjust the thing that you want to adjust. So I think
if you've got layers named layer 35, you're going down the wrong path.
yeah, exactly. So
layer 39, layer 51.
It takes like like honestly like a week or like a month to like say, hey, I'm gonna name everything, and after that it's part of like your workflow. You cannot see like a layer without like a name, right? It's like, oh man, what's the layer do? And I check it and I'm like, oh, this is the thing. So I name it, and it's really easy. It's really easy after that to find like the proper layer. So after this, I have this image, and I've noticed some things that I want to that I think I can improve in the shape, in the silhouette. So what I'm gonna do, and this is also like a sensitive subjects of sometimes, and I open the Liquify tool.
Uh-oh, you're going down a
Uh-oh.
Liquify path.
So
Prepare for the pushback.
once again, it's like this is very personal, and this is like some like of standards, like some magazines have, which I really don't really care. And some, I mean, I just really try to improve like the shape. I'm not trying to make it like skinnier. I'm not trying to make it like taller. I'm just trying to improve like the shape, and you can do it like really simple. Actually, my work in Liquify is not that heavy. So basically we're going to take this tool, and also something like really um, for people, like a good advice is like pick like a big like brush. You want to do like the adjustment in one movement. You don't want to keep doing like this. You obviously I took it to the extreme, but sometimes if you if you pick it like
Huh.
something small, you will have like
From now on, I'm going to teach it just like that.
just like
You
that.
want to do it like this, 3 steps. Oh, that was great.
Sometimes when people ask me about like these kind of things, I tend to take to this extreme so they can actually see
Yeah, they'll get it.
how it
They see it
works.
that
and
way. Yeah.
and that's the way that I learned. Like I was like checking the adjustment and like take it to the extreme. I was like, oh, this does this, this is gonna do this, and so that's the way that I kind of like showing my thing. But yeah, for example, here in the cheek, I just going to make a little bit smaller. It's not that much. Also here in the shoulder and the neck, I want to make this line a little bit more like organic. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be like big, and like I do this
Subtle, slight adjustments.
super slide. Here also, I just want to continue like this line. So I'm gonna the shoulder, I'm gonna take a little bit. Also here, I think I want like this line a little bit more curvy, but I want to. And also one thing you want to know, once you like just do liquefied once, because basically what Photoshop is doing when I click OK is like processing the image to make the effect, and it's losing like just a little bit of the quality, like so we might lose some pixels and stuff. So if you repeat this process like 3 or 4 or 5 times, you might have like some losses of like of your data here in the photograph. Here,
Right, and another way to protect from that is convert the layer to a smart filter layer
more
first,
filter.
and that way you won't lose anything. You always be able to come back to the adjustment.
Yes, but
But
when
then
you
your layer is
working,
a smart filter layer, so it's like then you limit yourself in other ways.
and the one thing is like it can like get like more like heavier your file,
Yes,
and but
yes.
that means like it's gonna be like a little bit, especially if you're working with like a full high definition images. You have to have a good machine so you can run like
Yep.
a small filter. So as you
Do
see, I
what
just want,
works best for you.
yes, the idea and what I try to show here is also, it's like this is my workflow. This is what I found that works for me. I mean, I do like I retouch my own work. So it took me like a while to find my own like workflow, but that doesn't mean like is the one you have to pick, you know. In here I have like, I just want to gain a little bit more, like a little bit bigger the lower lip, since like the upper is like way in comparison is like way bigger. So I'm gonna pick this. Sorry, sometimes I'm kind of bad to name the tools.
Yeah,
So I'm
the
gonna do it
pucker
like,
and bloat area tools in the Liquify. At least that's what they used to be called. I'm not sure what they are now. Let's go look.
and there you go. I think I can also like select this specific area and make the head.
Yep,
Like,
still called pucker and bloat.
perfect. So we're gonna make okay, and there you go. So you see like no big dramatic changes, just like enhancing the silhouette, which is like, if you see like in the shoulder area, I think makes like a big difference, you know, like it seems like more, you can read the image a little bit more organically. So this is it. So now we're going to start the heavy part. Well, one of the heaviest part. We want to start cleaning the image. The face, we want to start cleaning like the neck, and want to clean also like our hair. So what I'm gonna do, I use usually the healing brush and the cloning. When I'm using the cloning, it's when I have a little bit more of heavy texture, a little bit more texture that I want to perceive. And I usually use like the cloning with the blended mode and Darken and Lighten. Darken and Lighten, what it's gonna do is going to help us a lot to perceive the or texture. Basically, what when we are
Did we lose you, Fernando? All right. Fernando's still there, but he's frozen. Sorry about this, folks. We're having a technical glitch with Fernando coming in on the stream. I'm not sure. Oh, I'm starting to see Zoom freak out. All right, I think we lost him, so give me a second to come back. And of course, I got the wrong lower third on this, but actually, let's just go to that. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Let me see if I can get Fernando back for us and see if we can get him back on the call. First of all, turn that off. There we go. All right, let's see if I can reach out to him. He just kind of froze and disappeared. It looked kind of cool. Yeah, it looked kind of weird. Let's see if we can get him back. I don't know if he knows he's gone. Fernando, if you, yeah, he's completely out of the Zoom call. So let's see if we can get him to come back in. Sorry about that, folks. Could have been his power or his internet have gone out. He was coming in from a different country. Things like that happen. Well, what I can do while we're waiting is I can go through the daily creative challenge, but let me send one more message out and see if we can get him back. All right, tell you what I'm going to do. While we're waiting for hopefully Fernando to jump back on the call, I'm going to here, bro, could just keep going. Yeah, I don't have his for images or his techniques, but let's go ahead and dive into the daily creative challenge, and hopefully I'm watching to see if he pops back on. We can put him back in, and if not, we may be ending this one a little early, but let's see what we can do. All right, I'm going to switch over to my desktop. There we are. I've got the Discord open, and as you know, Jesus did a daily creative challenge a little bit earlier today. That challenge was, I believe, creating a gradient map on your images. And what happens is people watch the challenge. You can watch these every day. That's why it's called the Daily Creative Challenge. We have one for Photoshop, Illustrator, and XD. And you can come in and do whatever the challenge was. So in this case, it was create a gradient map or fixing the color with a gradient map. So I'm going to go ahead and start going through some of the entries that we got so far today. So with that said, I believe, yeah, let's scroll down. Okay, this is where it kind of starts for today. So this one says the second attempt looks much better. I don't know what the first attempt was. I would say that unless your mood for this photo is intended to be very dark, I might lighten up the exposure just a little bit because the entire image is a little dark. All right, let's go into this one. Our before and after. Really like the mood of the after. I kind of like how this kind of this just adding color to that depth of field in the background and adding some intensity in the clothing. The only thing I might have done different, because it's me, is I might have done a mask just on this part of the shirt to keep it white. But other than that, I like it. I like what you've done here. All right, let's keep going. And it looks like this is another before and after. I like your first before and after better because there's not a whole lot of difference in this one. It's just subtle. This is a little bluer than this. That's about it. And let's keep going. Same thing, just a different color. And again, I'm still like your original before and after looks like, wow, these look like, oh, made a little subtle differences. It's not that there's anything wrong with them. It's just your first one was so compelling compared to those last two. So when you look at this compared to these, you've made some changes, but the other one looked like it was really, really done intentionally, or done with purpose, is what I like to say. Now, here we go. Another one done with purpose. You've been having a lot of fun with the gradients here. Again, this is looking like it's really done on purpose. And again, see the difference here by keeping that white while you still apply the color to everything else. I don't know, it just looks a little bit more natural than putting a color on that. I guess it's a lion on the person's shirt. All right, here we go. Some more before and afters. All right. Just as a critique, take it with a grain of salt. When you're before or you're after the skin tone is really adversely affected, like he looks really pinkish reddish, then I'm probably not going to like it as much. It's not that the skin tone here was perfect either, but it just really made a difference kind of in the wrong way. So again, using a mask, I probably wouldn't have applied it as much to his face as I would to the rest of the image. All right, let's keep going. This one, I don't know what the before looked like, but cool image. I like it. Again, the skin tone here doesn't bother me because it's more of a natural brownish, tannish color, as opposed to a pink or a blue or some other color that wouldn't be natural. But good job there. Oh, maybe let's see what this one is. I like the first one a little bit better. This one, just not my favorite color, so that's all for this kind of work. But cool job there. I think I went in one too many. There we go. All right. Oh, we got more. More from the same guy or same person. And again, subtle difference on the jacket. I can see it versus the lighter blue. Another version of this. This one, I like the colors a little bit better. I like this blue better than the other blue you had. The magenta is okay. Just not my favorite pick, but it's okay. All right. And let's keep going here. Hang on for a minute. Just responding about getting Fernando back. All right. Nicely done. I'm just not sure. Like, this is getting lost in the details a little bit. But other than that, looks okay. Decent job here. I'm assuming this is your after, just bringing out more color and detail in the background here. If this is your after, then I would say I like this one better. All right, so, I see. Fernando lost his electricity. That will do it. And it's just back now. So hopefully, Fernando, if you're hearing this, you can jump back in the Zoom meeting and I can bring you back on. Electricity will, we kind of need that for the live streams. That and internet. So hopefully Fernando can jump back in by the time I scroll through the rest of these and we can get them back on. Okay, let's take a look at these. Very nice. I like what you did here. This of all of these versions, this is by far my favorite. And just a close-up of that. Again, digging what you've done there. So again, just looking at the progression, these are okay. There's nothing wrong with them. They're all okay. But when you get down to this level, now you're talking. Now it looks like you really spent some time and did some work with it. Here's a dual tone. Okay. And again, now you're back to just, it's okay, but again, you can't show me this after you've shown me this. So this looks like you spent some time on it. The other ones look like they're okay. All right. So let's see here. So Fernando is trying to get, hopefully he's trying to get back in. I don't see him coming onto the Zoom call yet. Just he kind of left us right in the middle hanging with that great work. I want to see him continue it. Yeah, I'm not calling Fernando. Fernando's calling me, so I'm waiting for his call. He's got to join the meeting. I have no way to join him in or pull him in. So Fernando, if you're out there listening, which I see you in the chat, just go ahead and click back on the original link that you used. If you're having a problem with that, just let me know in the chat and we can hopefully get you back on. But I'm not seeing him come in just yet. It might have taken him time if his electricity went out to get everything back up and running again. I know sometimes, even though the electricity comes back, it takes a few minutes for the router and internet and all that to come back as well. So we'll give him a few more minutes. We got like another hour left in the stream, so hopefully we can get him back on. And let's. I'm out of daily challenges to scroll through. We can of course scroll through some of the early ones from day one as I stall for time. All right, let's go back and see what this challenge was. Portrait retouch befores and afters. A photo compositing challenge. And blend mode challenge. All right, let's go down to the photo compositing area. Lots of that guy. We've seen a lot of those already, so let's see if we get some new ones. All right, let's see what's going on with this one. All right, so this person has documented what they've done. So the before, just kind of, okay, flat outside kind of image. The after is adjusting the skin tone adjustment, which again makes it look a little bit more natural, adding a little bit more yellow or brown into the skin tone. Black and white to green color adjustment. Okay, so adding a little bit more green to the foliage there. And a blend mode luminosity adjustment. Very nicely done. Just adding a few simple things to go from kind of a flat looking dull before to a more realistic after. So the only thing I would add into that is you can see how the exposure on his face is still just a bit dark compared to the background and the rest of the scene. So in this case, the last thing I would have done in addition to the things you did was I'd just brighten up his face area a little bit. And there are several ways to do that in both Lightroom and Photoshop, and even in the camera raw filter inside Photoshop. All right, let's see what we got going on here. All right, so now it's kind of up to me to spot the differences. I can tell definitely adding a little bit more green to the punch of this photo, adjusting the skin tones here, just making it look a bit more lifelike. I don't know that I'm really seeing much else other than the color and the skin tone. But good adjustment, headed in the right direction for sure. All right, let's see what we got here. Interesting. So original was kind of just like when you shoot concert work like this, it's kind of just all one light at the time of whatever the stage lighting was. So I like the edit that you've done to kind of bring out the artist more and just playing around with the different colors. Oh, looks like Fernando's back. Let's bring him back in. Fernando, you're back. At least I see you. Let's get some audio. And he's back. All right.
Hey.
So, hey, there you are.
Hey, I guess the electricity people decided to come to fix something in the neighborhood.
Oh, you gotta love it when it's self-imposed by people that are working on the power. I thought it might have been a storm or something.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, great to have you back. I just went through the daily creative challenge, which we would have done anyway about 30 minutes from now. So we got that out of the way. Now we can just concentrate on your editing. And this was the
Okay.
last one I was looking at, and I was just complimenting the person on taking a concert photo like this and really bringing out the subject just by changing the look and feel of it with the colors. All right,
Nice. All
let's
right.
go back to your desktop. You ready?
I'm ready.
Oh,
Uh,
whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. All right. Did you share your screen yet? That might be why. There we go.
yes. So, I'm so sorry, all. But this happens when you do it live.
All right. I'm going to try my best not to interrupt you because I know you lost some time. So I'm going to let you work.
Yeah. So basically here what happened, it was basically the same. I'm gonna just go back to Liquify, and what we're gonna, cause I think I lost it, and perfect. I'm just gonna do it like really fast so we can cover the entire thing. So as I tell you, we're gonna try go a big part. It's part 2. This part 2.
And for those that weren't here when Fernando lost electricity, he's working with the Liquify filter to just kind of make some subtle adjustments
Yes.
to the structure of the subject.
Yeah, we want to in the silhouette. Yes, and here I just wanted to do a little bit, get more size in the lips, a little bit, and ready to go. So as I said before, try to do like the liquefied in one step, like in one step. Yeah, well, in one process, because you don't want to lose quality. You don't want to lose some pixels. So that's the idea. Named here, and now ready to go with the skin. For the skin, as I said, I use like the healing tool, the cloning. What the cloning is gonna do, and I always use it like in Darken and Lighten. Basically, what Lighten is gonna do is going to pick the light pixels of the sample. I wanna select the sample here. I'm gonna paint it, I'm gonna clone it here without affecting the lighter pixels of the destination. And as you can see here, it's really good working with this because you preserve the texture, which is what we want to do when we're working with skin. And on the other hand, when we use like the Darken blended mode selection, it's gonna do the opposite. We have like this this white dot, so we want to copy from the sample the darker areas, and we only gonna paint and gonna be like without affecting the lighter pixels. I use this when I have a little bit more texture, and also I do like the healing brush. What healing brush is gonna do is gonna copy the texture of the image, and from the sample point also, and it's going to copy. This one is a little bit have a little more texture, but basically what's going to do is going to copy the texture and mix it with the luminance and with the color. So I use like a healing brush when I don't have that much texture, and cloning when I have a little bit more texture and more problems with the image.
Yeah, and it's important that, you know, what you're showing as far as using any one of those tools, especially the healing brush and the clone stamp, that you pick up texture very nearby. Because
Yes.
texture on a person's face or skin changes direction all over the place. It does. What looks right on the left side of your face does not match your forehead, does not match your nose, does not match under your eye. It's all different.
Yeah, that's what is like. Well, if you want to start doing this, I really suggest, like heavily suggest you to get like a tablet, because this is gonna be like not impossible. It's gonna be super hard in the mouse, and also like do the settings. I don't know. Let me show you. So I do like basically I in my tablet and the in my left hand I have like set up, so I have like the command here, and because I'm doing this like super like a lot of times, so you don't want to, and the keyboard can be a little bit like more space consumer, so you want to do it like everything like pack it up. And also like in my pen I set up like in here to change the size of my brush, right to left. It's like the same command. If you do like control and option, you control like the size of the brush, and if you go from the top to the bottom, you control the hardness. Okay, sure. So this is like really at least for me, it's like it's, because at the end what you do in the retouching is time, right? So you want to like be as much as efficient as you want. So right now I'm gonna start doing like this. I really use like, first of all, do the small areas.
And speaking of time, like I know you're doing a tutorial, you're kind of walking people through it, and you normally wouldn't be doing that, so it would go quicker. But like on an image like this, what's the average amount of time you would spend on it?
Oof, well, this in a specific picture has a lot of work here. You know, this is like not as usual that happens, but like the list, like the very least time that I take like in a beauty image will be like 3 hours, 4 hours.
3 hours. That's a long
But
time on
like
one
a
image.
image, like if I have something like this, if I have like a full body, it's like it's not it doesn't take that much, like a half an hour. I think I would say like
Really?
half an hour the least, and like
Yeah.
5 hours the most, like a day. I there's some images that I really have problems with that I've taken like a few days. You know, like
Wow.
because there's some things, and sometimes the idea here when you know like the tools is like, okay, you need to know, understand, try like the tool and see like how can I fix this specific problem. And you will notice like when you're working on that, like not all the two like different problems have like different solutions. So it's good to like think, hey, oh, I can do this and I can do that. So yeah, it's like it's really hard to tell, but yeah, everything is gonna be based on the on the image. And
And
you,
I guess, and also in this case, this is a beauty image that is going to go for a high quality print or high quality, or not high quality, but a high end
yes,
customer.
yeah,
So therefore, the time you're putting into it, little things that we may not do to our friend's portrait, but you're spending the time to do something like this that will go on like a cover of a magazine or in a or in a magazine spread,
yeah, completely.
where
Like
every pixel is going to be examined by millions of people.
yes, and yeah, the idea is like, as you see, like I using here like the darken, so I can like take away this here. So I do it in one shot. So basically when I'm working this, I work by parts, you know, so you don't want to be like, oh, start here and then go this way and go this way. So as we're getting short of time, I'm going to show you like how it works in different areas. And then I'm going to jump to like a different area specifically, so we can see different problems. Here, what I have is like a lot of like highlights, like, you know, like these white dots. But since like that's what I requested to the makeup artist, I'm not going to remove all of them, because that'll be like exactly that, killing the makeup artist's job
Killing
to
the
make
makeup work. Yeah.
this little thing. So I'll just take away the ones that really bothers me, but I'm gonna keep like a lot of them. Also, what I do sometimes, and if like as you see, like this image has like more like a high key vibe, and it might be a little bit harder sometimes to watch something in the skin. So what I do sometimes, it's like I go to black and white, and then take my reds down and my yellows down. So basically here, you can see a lot of more of the things like you don't want. You see, like,
I like how you use blend mode, or not blend modes, but adjustment layers to expose problems.
yeah, the idea is like how can you expose different problems? That's
Yeah.
like a lot of researchal tools, especially when you're starting. It's like it's hard to tell things. The idea, it's like once you get in like more training your eyes, you are able to see all these problems without any adjustment layers. Sometimes it's really hard, right? So I use this like for this area when we have a lot of light. You see, this problem looks like a little bit more evident right now. Lighten. And the idea here is, as I said, is like try to preserve the texture of the skin.
Yeah, and for those of you who are unaware, so he's basically painting on the color layer, or I shouldn't say painting, adjusting the color layer below the black and white layer.
Below,
The black and white
yes,
layer is just there to show where things need to be removed.
yes,
And once you turn that layer off, the colors underneath that's already been repaired.
exactly. Yeah, I'm not doing anything in the black and white. It's only going to help me to visualize my problem. What I do sometimes is also like, you know, turn it on, see what's going on, what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. Like for example, this, I'll have to change my blend mode to darken, and maybe it's too much. So I'm gonna opacity. So as we get in a little bit short of time, I'm gonna pass, like, all this area needs a lot of work. And I just wanna show you, like, in this particular case, this line, well, I have to take it away. It's more evident here. Oh, I have to change it to the lighten. And, very, very subtle. Also, I can take this away with Dutch and burning because it's like more on the shape side. But I want to like slightly get like a little bit more intense.
So Marsha's asking a question. I think you've already done it. She's asking, do you ever use another layer on top to do the retouching? And it looks like you're working on the work layer as opposed to the background.
I'm sorry, I didn't get it though.
Yeah, you're working on you're not working on the background. You're working on a layer specifically for the retouch.
Oh yeah. I always feel like the background is like the original one. I just keep it just there for anything that might happen. There's always like a way to go back. But the idea also is like try to like take your time so you don't have to.
So you don't have to go back.
yeah, and especially if you're doing like a lot of like the adjustment layer and then masking, so that's the way you don't destruct like your image. This one, because like this is like the cleaning part. But yeah, imagine like, well, I'm gonna show you like a little bit how it worked like down here. I just, now that we are like in the head, I'm gonna show you how like actually also like clean the hair, which is basically the same. Like I use the cloning and the darken, and I'm gonna get a little bit closer so you can see better. What I'm gonna do is gonna start taking some samples, but I need to go with the flow of the hair. You can see. So we want to keep the flow in, so it looks quite similar, maybe here. Oh, have the opacity down. That's why. So yeah, you can control also like how intense you want the effect, but I usually just put it like 100, and if it's like too strong, I'll change it. I'll change the opacity, no more than like 60%. But yeah, this also like I said usually, but every single image is different. So, and this kind of things is kind of hard to tell. Like, hey, you know what? Go to adjustments and put this specific value. It's kind of like a thing of train your eye, try to, like, even if you don't really morally empathize with the fashion industry or like magazines, it's good to check the magazines and like those kind of works, because the people behind it, there are people really talented in terms of like color, in terms of like harmonies, and a lot of different like ways to do things. So it's really inspiring, and I think, as I said, no matter what, if you don't like it, but art is art.
And yeah, and so what you're doing now is you're getting rid of the
Yeah,
few hairs that are going against the grain,
the
like
flying,
hairs that are
yeah,
going sideways or flyaway hairs
exactly.
that aren't going in the same
And
direction as the majority of the hair.
yes, you might not like see it like super like clear now, but once it's like completely done, you'll see like. But yeah, this is like basically there's no like a magic formula. It's doing like hair by hair.
Yeah.
So it's just like sit down, get a nice playlist, and enjoy the process. Like. Darken.
Now
So
that area underneath the ear that you said where the hair was on her side there, you said it would be difficult.
here,
Like what technique? And I don't expect you to do it all now, but what technique would you start with to get rid of that?
I'm starting like with the hairs, like they're like kind of like more far away, because this
Mm-hmm.
part is like really dense. You see like there's a lot of hairs here.
Mm-hmm.
So when you want to start, is start like, let me show you. It's exactly the same, because you have like texture here.
Yep.
The thing with the healing brush is really amazing, but if we pick this, it's going to take all the texture, and sometimes copy the texture like we don't want there, because it's interpreting like the full area. So in that case, it's way better the clones. So basically here, it's just hair by hair,
So the technique is the same, hair by hair,
hair by hair. Yeah,
minute
there's
by
no
minute, hour by hour.
exactly. So this, I think we can use this. So yeah, basically the way you approach, it's like try to go like from a little bit on the side. So you are like preserving the texture here, and then when you are copying, you're like gradually going to the main area. Here, let's try to, yeah. So yeah, it's not as fun as you think, huh? It's just like
That's why
sometimes
it's work. It's work.
it's
That's
work.
why people that do
Yeah,
high end retouching get paid because there's a lot of work involved.
see how you can start like getting like, it's not a
So
lot.
Gene's asking, how long did it take you to create your workflow, and how much would you charge a client to retouch an image like this?
Mm. My workflow, it's improving. I mean, I try to learn every day like new tools, new like adjustment, like every day is like changing a little bit, but basically like I have like a base, like the basics. Took me like, I'll say, like 4 years, like doing some slightly changes here, doing like, but as I said, it's like keep learning. I try to, every day, especially because like Adobe have like new updates like super soon. so like super often. So try to keep updated as much as I can, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry if I sometimes I get like silence, but it's like concentration here. Because you know, like
So the workflow is an ever improving thing. You're always
yeah,
learning more ways and fast to do it faster, easier, better.
every day, yeah. And this image, I don't. I mean, as I said, I don't consider myself as a retoucher. I do my own retouch, but the amount of time, I mean, I don't know. It's because also depends like what's the goal, what's gonna happen with this image. It's not the same as you gonna retouch like a image for like a magazine, like an editorial, or for an international campaign, you know. Like if you're doing like a cosmetic international campaign, obviously you have to raise your price uh way more. So it's kind of like kind of really hard to tell, you know. Depends on like where it's gonna be showcase.
And someone's asking if you could show the before and after at some point.
Yeah.
Probably towards the end. Yeah.
So you see like there's some dark areas here that I want to get rid. I can do it with cloning, but also I can get rid of that with in the Dutch and burn. So basically we have like this, as we're gonna see, I think later today or tomorrow maybe, because it's gonna take a little bit of time to do here. But yeah, we can do that in Dutch and burn also. Like that is one of the uh, most popular techniques to play with light. But yeah, it's, as Terry said, it's like the way you pick like the sample has to be close, so it's like really natural. The way you look, the way you saving the texture, you know.
And also, what's helping with that, it's a subtle thing you're doing that I think a lot of people may not know is when you're doing your clone stamp or your brush or any of the adjustments, you're setting the blend mode of the brush to be lighten or darken, so
Yeah.
that it also helps maintain that texture by not just
Yes.
simply replacing those pixels with the exact same pixels that you sampled from.
Yeah.
So, for
Yeah.
example, if you're trying to get rid of one of the lighter hairs, not only sampling the area that doesn't have the hair, but setting the blend to darken so that
Darken.
it will just get rid of that one hair and nothing else.
Exactly. And also, it's really important the size of the brush. You know, it depends of the
Right. Not adding any more pixels than you need by
yeah.
making the brush only as big as it needs to be.
So that's what I'm saying.
All of those techniques make a difference.
And also, as I said again, it's like having like a way you can change your brush instead like going this way, well, like going this way and change it is gonna improve like a lot your time. Because yeah, at the end of the day, it's like you're the one who's like sitting here, and as a photographer, that this helps you a lot to really sit here and understand that, because you can, when you're on set, you can be like really more um, like hard with the people you are working with, like cinematic artists. Like, hey, you know what, if you notice something on the spot, it's like, hey, can you fix this in the spot? Because after all, you're the one who's going to be sitting there, you know.
Right.
And that's how I think, how the way you also start working with better people, because you know, like a good makeup artist is going to make your life like 10 times way easier, you know.
And someone's asking just a random question: what camera do you use? Brian
Just
from
a
Kenya.
Nikon.
Which one?
A Nikon. It's like the 7100. It's like a really,
7100. Okay.
yeah, it's not a big deal. I really like it so far. I'm planning to change it, but that camera, I have like a lot of love of that because it has helped me like in the goods and the bad. Like it really um, helped me with in my career.
I'm sure Nikon would love to hear that you're doing this kind of work with a 7100. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Well,
amazing.
basically, what I try to spend more a little bit on the lenses
Yeah, and
more than the
it proves the
camera.
point too that it's more about the person holding the camera than the actual equipment itself.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're doing this level of work with that camera is
Hmm.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, of course, if you're gonna do like a big campaign, you might need like something like way like bigger, you know, like a phase one or maybe depends on the
Hmm.
word. But I think it's not the tool, man. That's what I've really been like my personal like ideology is like if you don't know how to use the tool, doesn't matter. It's gonna it's gonna do the same thing.
Right. And you said something earlier too that I always tell people just starting out: if you're going to spend money, if you only have a limited budget, and your choice is a better lens or a better body, get the
Hmm.
better lens. The lens will last you forever.
Yes.
Bodies come and go.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's what I instant getting like a new body. I just got it like a different lenses, and so far has worked like really fine. I have like the 85, 50, 35. You have
Yeah,
the
things no
fish
one ever
eye.
says. I wish this lens wasn't so sharp. I wish this lens wasn't so good and fast.
Yeah,
Things no
yeah,
one
yeah,
says. So spend the money. If you got a choice, spend the money on the lens. That's more
yeah.
important than the body.
Yeah, when I started, I got it like the first type of equipment. I don't even got it like brand new. I got it like, what's the name, refurbish.
Yeah, refurbished. I've gotten refurbished lenses before.
And it's like amazing for me. Like I still have it. They're still working. It's like for me, uh same. Well, you said it's like get in there
So
slowly.
Marsha's asking, couldn't a makeup person get rid of most of the facial hair?
Well, no, I mean the model has to like
They're rare, yeah. You can
it's
only
rare
cover up so
because
much.
yeah, yeah, no, especially because if you work in with flashes, this flash is gonna do this. It's gonna give you
Right.
like, it's gonna
It's going to
light
expose it. Yeah.
all the little things. That's the beauty
So
and the
that's
yes,
another important factor is a lot of things we see in a picture at high def, frozen in time, we would never notice in person. Like I'm sure
yes,
no one walks up there and says, "Oh, you have a lot of hair on the side." No one ever says that. Like you never even see it. But
yes,
because of the lighting, because of the dynamic range of the camera, because of how sharp the image is and how sharp the lens is and high resolution, and we're staring at it for an hour, we see things we would never see in real life.
yeah. Well, I move a little bit of the hair part because I don't want to bore you that much, but
Yeah, no,
I
no,
don't, I know.
we get it. You answered the question. It's
Like,
just spending more time doing the exact same thing
yeah,
over
yeah,
and
yeah.
over and over.
I'm gonna try to like show you like in the entire like phase what I'm kind of like doing, and then I'm gonna show you like what's already like a clean. Because yeah, definitely this gonna would take more than the 4 hours that we have, especially with the incident. So in this particular area, I'm gonna go with the nose. See all these little dots is the same thing. It's exactly
Again,
the
things
same
you would never see in
thing.
person.
You never see in person exactly, but like thanks to the lens, thanks to the flash, like they're here. And I wanna just clear out again, as Terry said at the beginning, this like a really personal matter. But this type of like retouching helps you a lot to practice. So no matter what, if you don't like it, no, you should try it. Just to it's a matter of practice, you know, to get your train your eye, to train you like skills, and sit up. I always have belief. I mean, I admire retouchers a lot because it's like a lot of this job. As I said again, I don't consider myself as a retoucher. I just got a photographer who retouch their own work. I have retouched for some people and they ask me, but
Well, I know you don't consider yourself a retoucher, but the level of time and effort you're spending, you are a retoucher. Whether you want
and
to call yourself one or not, you're absolutely a retoucher.
yeah, because
You're retouching things most people wouldn't even think twice about. They wouldn't even look at. So yeah,
that's the
you're a
idea.
retoucher.
It's just try to be like special in the details, you know, and it's gonna help you a lot when you are like shooting, because it's like, hey, I can fix this on the spot. I don't have to fix it when like sitting in my place and like spend like 3 hours. If I can fix it here, you know, if I can light better, if I can like different things, you know. This might be a little bit too strong. So you see like all these little dots are going away.
Okay, so I got just a personal preference question. So I see the highlight on the nose and above the eye and on the lips. Would you
Mm-hmm.
leave that highlight on the nose or would you remove it?
This one,
Yep.
I will keep this one, just this one.
Okay.
And this one, I'm gonna try to reduce it because it's like way too intense. So like after this, I'm gonna show you how can we recover some of the midtones that
Mm-hmm.
we have here, because like we have like a really like a exposed area. So there's like a way we can recover information here, so we can create more texture. Because at the end, it's like, okay, all the skin tones are gonna be in the midtones. So unfortunately here I lost it, and here is like something also you can fix like um, in Lightroom, but I wanted to show you how to fix it here.
Mm-hmm. And we got
This
a camera settings question. Gene's asking, do you
yes.
remember the camera settings, the f-stop and the shutter speed?
Ooh, no. I mean, I think I always when I do it and when I work in the studio, I tend to get like this was taken in my 85 millimeter, I think, and uh,
And
I
by the
always
way,
use like
Gene, rarely if you're in studio working with flash, are you doing much with your shutter speed? The flash is going to freeze the action, so
yes,
there's not a whole lot you need to keep changing with shutter speed. F-stop, yes,
yes,
but not shutter speed.
yeah. When you do the f stop, is basically how sharp you want and how like you want like a little bit of blur. If I take like a super close, like imagine here, sometimes I used to take
Mm-hmm.
I take like close up, maybe like this way. So maybe I want just be like the eye in focus, but I want all this information be a little bit blurry. I tend like to open my f-stop like a little bit more, but if I want everything like really on focus, I close it. I usually like
If
play on
I
my
had
ISO
to,
and the lows. Yes.
yeah, if I had to guess, just looking at the image and looking at the edges, I would say you're probably around f6.3, f7.1,
I
maybe
think
even
I think it was like
if I had to
eight
guess. Yeah,
to
it
be
might be f8.
eight. Yeah. So yes, that's also like a question like you have to ask yourself like what I want to see, you know, what kind of information do I want to be in like focus and what I don't want to be in focus. Do I want my background like on focus, or do you have like info in the background that is I think is important for the picture? So this is all the
Yeah, if you really wanted to find out, you can look at the file info or the metadata in Lightroom, and it will tell you what you were on.
yeah. I'll I'll check the metadata and tomorrow I'll let you know, or later today. So as you see, sometimes you don't even like want, I mean, what I do is like, I don't want to kill everything. Maybe just like reduce it, you know, don't make it like as shiny. Because also like this can be like really take care. I just want to show you how kind of looks up the nose.
Again, things I've never retouched on a photo. Never, never, ever done this. Now I
Yeah.
feel like my retouches are way inadequate compared to yours.
No, I mean, the thing is, once again is like what you want to use.
It's the project, it's the client, yeah,
It's the
all of the
project.
above.
It's like, because I mean, this is like a really detailed one. And
Yeah, it is.
I have some ones that, like some projects, look, this is like a little bit of.
All right, so I have a question. So I've seen you do this technique. There's a technique I want to see what you would do. So if you go to the right side of the image where the hair is coming off the back of the neck, you said you would leave it so it looks like hair, but would you remove any of it?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, how? Same
Okay.
technique?
No. The thing here is like, as we have like a gradient here,
Mm-hmm.
if we're doing hair by hair, it's gonna be really difficult because we have like, you know, like different
The
intensity of
difference in
light
color
from
in the
here.
background,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what are you gonna do? What you can do, it's like create a new layer and then go to the cloning, but then go to normal. What you want to do here, and the sample mode, you put current and below, and you're gonna pick like a sample here. Oh. And start doing this. Try to like, you can take like a few steps, but try to take the color next to it. So.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. And then you're gonna. I'm guessing. I'll see if I'm right. Let's see what you do.
And I'm gonna start doing this here too. You know, like this air. These hairs, I would like to take it away completely.
Okay.
So what I wanna do is here. Also here, there's some mini hairs like. So basically here, oh shit. Save it. And we're gonna create like adjustment layer. And we wanna start painting. We're gonna paint in black. So then we wanna pick what a specific part we want to like.
Okay, so you masked all the hair. You hid it under I'm
like
sorry. You cloned all the hair on a different layer, cloned it away, and then you're
Yes.
using a mask on that layer to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna paint back in what you want.
Yeah. So you're gonna brush, like a soft brush. You wanna start renewing.
Very cool.
So the idea here is like a little bit, so I can adjust it later, like how it's gonna be like next to it. But like it's gonna be more evident on this side. How like everything is going to disappear. See. This is like a one way that I use, like in this type of fonts. And I'll take this away.
Again, very difficult to do this with a mouse, folks. So if you're like you're trying to
Very.
get in close like that and you're using a mouse, good luck.
I'm right now. I'm doing it with a mouse because I updated my operating system,
tablet, right? But under
and
normal
sometimes fails.
circumstances, this is a must for tablet must.
Tablet, yeah, for sure. So yeah, imagine this with a mouse.
No, I can't.
So
That's
we
why I
can,
said that.
like now that we remove this, we can, after that, we can work a little bit more in it. But yeah, basically this is the idea. I think, yeah,
Yep.
just get a little bit into the blacks here, but I'm gonna work a little bit. But yeah, see all these little hairs.
Wow.
We're gonna like kind of like take it away one by one. So yeah, it's like, at least for me, and I think it's like no like super like magic tools. It's gonna be like work, especially if you work in this type of like images. Once again, it's like different every single process, you know. And same one here. I mean, maybe I want to get rid of this. I want to keep like these ones, and that's like a personal thing. Maybe some people would say like, oh no, this look horrible, but I think I want to keep them. And it's hair by hair. So here, well,
yeah, that's a great technique for keeping the background gradient,
the background,
looking the same.
So here, because I'm checking the
you got about 11 minutes left today, by the way.
Yeah. I have, well, I did like all this like work already, so I want to show you like how it looks like already done, like the basically something that I forgot to do, and it was like at the very beginning. I wanted to remember that I told you that I didn't like. I want to take this light and put it here to make it more even.
Yep. Make it symmetrical.
So what I want to do here is gonna take this specific part, and I Command J, duplicate it, and then
catch lights are very important.
Yes.
So it makes your subject look real, or alive, I should say, not real.
So we're gonna Command T to transform it, so we can adjust this. As we see, like we have like a tiny piece of light, but I don't know what happened here. Maybe like different. So I'm gonna copy here.
Probably tilt it. Yeah, I was gonna say tilt it just a little bit more.
A little bit more, and
there
then
you go. Perfect.
Erase a little bit the what do I want here. And as you see, it's like making a big difference.
Yeah, it does.
And it's like these
Looks
little
way,
details.
yeah, it looks way more natural. Just that little change, adding that second catch light in the other eye, just night and day.
Exactly. So just gonna see here. It's like, so well, as I said, I have worked on this. I'm gonna clear this, and this would be like the clean, my clean mask. So basically here I already cleaned the hair and this area. You see like how was
So
it?
this for the person asking for the before and afters. These are before and
Yeah, this is
afters.
before after. Basically, what I was like teaching you, like what I was showing to you, the technique. This is like already like how like I cleaned her face. I cleaned here. Like we can see like step by step like the before and after. So here, what I did is like basically take like the white and the black dots. I got a little bit of the hair here. You know, like all these little hairs. The front head, I cleaned this area too. The nose, like this part, you see like.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Uh,
big difference.
Also
I
like
didn't
the
even see it. I
expression
didn't
line.
even see you work on the eyes.
Yeah,
You must
yeah,
have
it
done it
was.
earlier. Yeah.
So here it was like basically the same, like taking away the like these lines.
The lines. Yep.
Take these lines away, but it's the same technique. Also here in the eye, like this the veins, and all
Now,
this is.
another question I get, especially from female subjects, when you get to the eyelashes, do you ever fill them in? Do you add more?
Sometimes, but not really. To be honest,
Okay.
this is the like kind of like the things I really pursue like the people that I'm working with, like to do it on the spot. You know, like hey, when I'm shooting, if and I'm checking like first of all like I took like a shot, and then I check like makeup. I said like check like eyes. I was like, hey, you know what? There's something we can do here. We can do it here, and that's the kind of things that I like to do because as again, I want to do um, my retouch part like as quick as I can. Do it right, of course, because I like to do it right. I know it's that implicates like more and more time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, once again, like here, like how I clean the hair, you know, like all these little gaps between like the hair, like when you can see like the skull, or you can see the head, you have to fill it in as the same technique. It's basically like
Ah, gotcha.
that's basically what we do here.
Okay. See,
Would
and
be like
I guess I
the
was mistaking that for just blonde streaks, but that's skin. That's not hair.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
skin, that's
Okay, I
not
see
hair.
that. That's skin. Right.
Because you know,
Okay.
like the once again the hair was like super like
Super slick
taken
back.
back,
Right.
super
Yeah.
slick back. So you have like these little lines of head. So
Mm-hmm.
also here I try to fill in a little bit more of like it look more.
So
You see,
Chris
like,
says, "Beautiful work, Fernando. Do you ever use the high pass filter for skin smoothing?"
the high pass of what? Sorry.
High pass filter for skin smoothing.
No, no. I don't. Basically, what I do is this. I used to use like the high the separation of frequencies,
Frequency separation. Yep.
frequency separation. Sorry. But as of using it, I only use it if I have like something like extremely like hard to to create in the texture. If we have no really information that I can clone.
Yeah, I
Um,
was going to say, you don't seem like the type that would use a technique like that because you're literally going in pixel by pixel
but I used to do
and
it a lot.
removing the things that would make skin not smooth.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I used to do it like a lot, but once again, like it's every day try to learn new things and try to like understand things better, how it works like in photography, not only in photography but in Photoshop. So as a like I put my self like a purpose that don't use like frequency separations unless I really have
Unless
to.
you have to.
Yeah, so it's like a painful because sometimes it's not really perfect and it's kind of hard to do it, but it's like I think it's better. I mean, it's like as a professional, always want to keep your like keeping up your level, no? And I think
Right.
this is a good way to keep doing it. Also, what I did here, I don't know if you uh, notice here, but it's all
Yeah.
these little hairs too.
Big difference when you show the before and after.
What I'm gonna show you tomorrow is gonna do like the Dutch and burning. I'm gonna show you like a little bit how to fix that highlights problem, like when you have to recover some midtones and wanna go a little bit of the color grading. Like here, what else here I can show you? Also like getting rid of this, also very personal decision,
Yep.
right?
That's one of my pet peeves. I tend to get rid of lines in the neck, even though we all have them, and that's where our neck
Yeah,
bends.
yeah,
It
yeah,
just doesn't do the portrait any justice.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, especially with a
Exactly.
makeup job like that, I applaud you doing that. Like that's what I would
Yeah.
have done.
For example, like here I decided to preserve like this natural that I
Yeah,
really like.
that's a mole. Yeah.
I could take it away, but I think it really adds something special on her face, so I decided to
Well, it's
preserve
also
it.
part of her identity. So things like that we keep,
Exactly.
or at least ask before you
Yeah.
remove.
Yeah. Well, but yes, the thing is like when you're like doing like in fashion modeling, it's kind of like a perception. Like, okay, I want to do it because this is gonna prove like or it's gonna come better with the concept. I want to show this and that one. But yeah, once again, it's like personal. So I want to show you what the job that I did here in the chest. So it was just like same technique, taking this little like dots, red, and which is like these lines also. It's also like we can work a little bit better in Dutch and burn. That's the thing that I'm gonna show you tomorrow. But yeah, that's like you see me? Do you see me well?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Well, actually, your camera froze for a second. You're back.
Oh, yeah, it's back. So yeah, I think we have like a few minutes left. We can answer some questions because I
Yeah.
think I
So
can show you like
one question just popped in from Cornell. What's the resolution of this photo? If you go up to
I
image
work.
size, we can probably see it.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's a 300. I crop it a little bit, but my camera gives like the 4,000 per 6,000 pixels. But I always keep my resolution at 300 because it might need like to send it to print.
Yeah,
So you
shot
better
with a 24 megapixel camera.
Yes. Another question.
I've been kind of answering them along the way. We got like 30 seconds left. If someone want to pop in one last question, we're going to end it for the day. Fernando will come back tomorrow and keep working.
Okay. Yeah, just tomorrow I want to show you like how the Dutch and burn technique, how can get more shape with light, how can we fix some like shape problems, which is like these little things you can see like but yeah, tomorrow we want to cover that. We want to cover that how we can separate the model from the background, and color and the final touches, you know, like these little like tricks to bring a little bit more the image.
Okay. And one last question. How do you prepare your photo for printing? Any special color science or anything you do outside just saving out a file?
No, well, usually like that's depends. It's gonna be like where you print it. No, sometimes they have like their own like profiles. But what I actually do is just like finish it and get it like in an RGB, because you know, like in the printer shop, they know better how to do the
How
right
to convert it.
conversion.
Yeah.
So I don't mess with that, because it's like, okay. But that's one of the things that I really like want to learn in the near future. Like at least not do it for myself, but maybe prepare something and you can be like more aware of what you
Yeah.
want to see.
All right. Well, thanks, Fernando. We will be back tomorrow, same time, same channel, and we'll be back for more. Thanks, everybody. And up
Thank
next
you.
is another session on Adobe Live. Cheers.